Here are some highlights of this program. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that is a brainstorm. Yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brainstorm Broadcast. Young people are shaping the future of our nation through ideas, actions, and determination. How do they make it possible? To find it out, please watch today's program entitled Youth and Social Change in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Joining me on set is Didier Francois. Hello, Didier.
Hi, sir.
Didier Francois is a teacher of English, so this is the first time to come here on this program.
Yeah, it's
And
my
I'm
pleasure.
delighted
Yeah, so am I.
to have you.
Yes.
All right. So we talked today about youth and social change in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We know that a lot of people are involved in youth movement and activism. So how would you describe the role of youth in driving social change in the DRC?
Okay, thank you, sir, for invitation. And I think as far as I am concerned by this, as a young man living in Kinshasa, I think that the young people, as the actor of the change, they are like the measure power of for the change of the country. And the young men, young people, especially of those of Democratic Republic of Congo, they must be committed, like that power of the commitment to bring the new air in the political scene. And I think that they must not be left behind. They must bring their contribution. And from me, I think that it's kind of a given power, like a given voice of the change.
Okay, the voice of the change. They need to be active, right?
Yes.
Dynamic when it comes to bringing a change in society or community.
Yeah.
So there are some challenges they face in their movement today. Can you name some of them?
Yes, they face many challenges, like to be understood or listened to by the authority. So many young men today, the young people movement today, are facing their many challenges, such as restricted speech or discourse on the line, especially. Yet, although there exists that those of young people are active on the social media, but there's kind of restriction for them to not really loudly express themselves because they are kind of fear of intimidation, the fear of the censorship, you see, of so many things like that.
Okay, we talk about those people around the world, namely in the DRC. They're free because they enjoy their freedom.
Yeah.
As the citizens, they can express their ideas freely. You think that the problem lies likely on the part of those young people? They maybe have hard time to convince officials by their actions or through their initiatives. You think that the problem may be the lack of conviction? That's why there are some restrictions on the part of officials.
But I think that not really the lack of conviction that urge the authority to act in that way against the young people. But I think it is because there is a kind of responsibility they feel like they are responsible of, and that urge the young people to speak. And since they could not accept to hear that, so
And maybe because here the problem, there are some challenges. Now, we cannot only give the responsibility to officials or political politicians,
Yes.
saying that there are some kind of restrictions to young people to demonstrate, to express, to speak their minds.
Yes.
You think that the problem might be lack of training? They are not trained enough. They're
Not
not
like well
prepared,
prepared.
in order to say, because they could see eye to eye whenever there is a problem, whenever something goes wrong. You think, or those young people, even citizens, they have their representatives in the House. That's why authorities are restricting them to express their views, even to demonstrate.
Might be can be a case in a given like domain of the life, but I think that we got schools. Many young people in Congo are attending universities, and I think that they are well trained. And those governors, or those are leading the country today, who, if I can say, if that is the main reason for them to restrict the young people, I think I wonder, did they have someone that trained them to occupy that function they had today? I think not. So I think the experience comes through the actions, through working, and I think they have to give the chance to the young population to also gain experience. I
Okay,
think, yeah.
gain experience. Lately, I've been in touch with some young of those citizens, Congolese people. They say, no, we want to speak out, but sometimes we're afraid of police.
Yeah.
Down in the street will be banned. There is no way for us to clearly speak what
Express
is
their
wrong,
mind,
express
yes.
our mind, speak our mind, of course. And then, don't you think that because now they have cultivated in their mind pessimism, are there those young people who could set a good example in community because they're optimists? Do you know some who courageously stood up? They could just stand up. They could even speak out. Do you know some of them? If you do, you can tell the audience watching right
So
now.
like-
Just give an example in the community.
Like you want me to name the young
young, successful youth activism in the
activism.
Democratic Republic
Okay.
of Congo.
One best example I have in mind is Lucha and Filimbi movement. I think that those young people are mobilized our citizens and communities to stand for their right and promoted democracy and freedom. I think it is one of the good example of the young Congolese population. I mean, but that serves as good example to other young people that are like having their mouth shut to not speak, allow what is not going on, what going on in the country. You see, and if I do have another more example, not a group of young people, but an individual, I think it is the Ministry of Justice, the one who was condemned.
Minister of Justice, the former one.
The former one, yes. I think it is Constant Mutamba. He was also one of the good example of the young population that could make distinction among everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's true that young people sometimes are really they are affected by fear of speaking out when there is a problem to demonstrate, maybe by lack of knowledge, but
Yeah.
some need a training. That's why through this video we want to know, why do many young people are involved in more activist movement? Please take a look at this, and we'll be back.
Young people have helped drive social movements around the world. From protesting the established order to furthering new ideas, youth are often on the front lines of political and social transformations, hoping to make the world a better place. Reasons for youth participation in movements vary. Compared to adults, youth often have larger social networks, which can serve as conduits for the transmission of ideas and mobilization. Young people are also more inclined to be innovative in their use of media. They may adopt the latest technologies to help spread their message and mission. Also, youth may have more time and bandwidth than older generations, giving them a greater chance to take risks and fight the status quo. Altogether, reasons such as these make youth participation in social movements an incredibly powerful element.
All right. There are some problems, those guys, they want to say, no, this is wrong, and we want to condemn it. For instance, corruption. Here we want to dive into fighting corruption and promoting transparency in the community. So what role can young people play in fighting corruption?
I think they have to play the role of being different, like standing like in different position in regard of the others. But today it is kind of impossible to find those young people who are standing against corruption, since the political system of our country is really a little bit complicated. That doesn't make it easy, the thing for the young population. An example, for example, today, to get hired in a given institution, public institution, it needs you to be in touch with a well-placed person, and that one should recommend you. So the fact of the knowledge does not even taken into account, but it is now it is related to that, to this or to that one. Now you see, so if you don't have any acquaintances or relative, so you can easily dive into corruption, because you see so we have that I can say think of surviving inside us. So how would you survive in a country where everything you have to pass through, or you have to be like this or that to survive? It is a little bit complicated.
Fighting corruption is a challenge.
It's a challenge.
It's not
yes.
an easy thing.
Yeah.
Then those young people want to fight corruption, but now the concern is how aware are they about governance and transparency? Because when you know how the governance will work in the society or in a country, and transparency in public administration, and then you could be ready to know whether there is corruption or not. So what kind of knowledge do they have when it comes to governance and transparency?
I think they have kind of not too much knowledge, but because when they are like novice, when they come into that functions, so they have to be taken through it by those preceding them, such as the elderly politician. They have to guide the young population so that they can make a good think in perspective.
Yes.
But since there's that not good willingness from them, I think they will not help the young population to do any good thing.
Okay.
But I think that they don't have really strong knowledge about how to bring any institution, public institution, to success. But they need as well to be taken there through by those who are there already.
All right. Knowledge is something, and now there is another thing, because the current regime, the current system, you think it allows young people to hold leaders accountable because they may have knowledge, but does the system allow them to hold their leaders accountable?
do you want me to say whether the current policy, political policy, allowed the young people
to hold
be
the leaders accountable?
Oh, okay. So one example is the fact that the president is also getting involved, the young population. One example, it is by giving the charge of the youth responsibility ministry to a young lady that is Madame Grace Coutinho. So it is one of good thing I noticed from this government. Yeah.
Okay, I think you one of the Congolese youth. Okay, you can help them since they be watching you many while we're discussing this relevant issue. What strategies can youth use to promote transparency in public institutions?
I think the strategies they must use to promote transparency and fighting the corruption within their public.
Because when there is a transparency, it will be very hard to resort to corruption.
Yeah, I think they must not be far away from the value they got. So they must put them into like action. I mean, so you see, they have to act in a positive way to stay like different. Although there could be some people within the public institution they act in that way, I think the youth should stay different, so that we can say that they really bring
okay, stay different to bring about a change, a real change, of course. Now let's go to touch on education. How can education help reduce corruption among future leaders? Because today's youth is the tomorrow's leaders. So how can education now help reduce corruption among future leaders? Because you've just mentioned a young minister.
Yes.
So are they prepared through education to deal with the problem related to corruption?
Yes, I think that the education is the main tool that help the young population to be the future leader. And because thanks to education, I think we are able today to be here on the TV to also bring our contribution or to do this or that. I think it's thanks to education. And I think education at the school exactly where we got the education, I think it is a good place where the young population are like having the good strategy of being for the perspective the good leaders. An example, at school they teach the kids how, for example, to handle or to manage the flood. So to avoid the flood, you have to put any rubbish into a trash can. Okay. So you don't need to throw it away on the road. So you see, all of those good things, we got them from the school. And I think if tomorrow they get the chance to be at the head of any ministry, I think they will, if they can remember exactly what the school say, I think they will do it. They will do good thing.
All right. Among strategies to fight against corruption, there is education.
Yeah.
And so what does it take to be an anti-corruption? The following video will help you just get inside of it. Please take a look at it, and we'll be back.
You need to have a passion.
Passion. Il faut être passionné, sinon on se décourage vite.
There's a lot of patience needed.
You have to be patient.
You need to be inspired by the work.
Commitment. You have to be committed.
Il faut être courageux.
Courage. Coraje.
You must be prepared to do like diving with the shark.
Muchas veces se va a enriquecer trabajando con estos temas, ¿no? Uno trabaja por el bien común.
Integrity, because you have to personify the change you want to make happen.
Be the change
and be resilient.
Endurance, because it won't happen overnight.
I expect that leader to have a heart.
And love for people and the country.
You have to give from your soul, your heart, your time, your effort, everything.
Perseverancia, porque muchas veces vamos a sentirnos frustrados que la corrupción no cede, que la corrupción está ganando la batalla. Sin embargo, tenemos que tener perseverancia para comprender que podemos ganarle.
All right, now the final point we're going to deal in this topic is gender equality and inclusion. This is a serious problem, namely in the DRC. So how do young people contribute to promoting gender equality in the Democratic Republic of Congo?
Or how do they contribute to promote the gender and equality?
Yes.
I think, first of all, it depends on the society. Especially we are Congolese and we are African. So the way we perceive equality or the gender, the equality of gender within our society is totally different from the way the European people perceive it. I think here what is equal, it is the fact that although a woman can have a higher place, should not forget that he is also like under the supervision of her husband. So I think that. So that aspect of Africanism stays in us. And I think that a good African lady, no matter the function she got in the society, she doesn't turn into like a woman. She doesn't act like a woman, because sometimes the understanding is like turning a little bit obvious to consider that when we are talking about equality, we mean that what does the man is what the woman should do. It's kind of taking it a little bit not well.
Okay, so the kind of misunderstanding, gender equality is not in the family, it's not in a marriage, but it may be in the society, in the public institution. Both men and women enjoy the same rights.
Yes, they enjoy the same rights. So
there are women who can set a good example about the gender equality. Ladies and gentlemen, the following video will highlight how in the DR Congo, women's rights activists do in order to set good example for other women. Please take a look at this video and we'll be back.
Eliane Kibubi is a Congolese lawyer on a mission to end sexual and gender-based violence in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but she faces a daunting task. A study by the United States Agency for International Development found that 1 in 4 women in the DRC has experienced sexual violence at some point in their lives. Eliane is unfazed by the statistics. She has started educating men and women in the Pakajuma slum of Kinshasa about the issue.
Il y a beaucoup de cas, non pas seulement ici dans ces...
There are so many cases of gender violence, not only here in Bakajuma, but also in Kinshasa and the rest of the DRC. Raising awareness alone is not enough. People will not change in a day. We are therefore asking the government to make sure that there are laws and that they are enforced.
Long-held traditions around male dominance in some Congolese communities have contributed to the problem.
Here in Africa, many of our cultures teach us that men are superior to women, but I believe that both men and women are able to execute difficult tasks. If we are to develop, women and men who have the required skills should be given the opportunities to work.
Mothers have a greater responsibility of educating their children about preventing sexual and gender-based violence. I tend to be aggressive and sometimes take drastic action against my children when they misbehave. All mothers should play their role.
According to the UN, about 30,000 cases of rape, trafficking, sexual slavery, and forced marriages are recorded in the DRC every year. Most of them have been reported in the east of the country, where an armed conflict has been raging for close to 3 decades. Many of the people living in this Pakajuma neighborhood of Kinshasa fled armed conflicts in other parts of the DRC. Cases of gender-based violence are common here. That's why women rights activists have started educating people in this community. Eliane and her team have partnered with the United Nations Human Rights Office in Kinshasa to spread the word about ending gender-based violence. In 2006, Congolese MPs passed a law against sexual and gender-based violence. But the country's poor judicial system and weak law enforcement has failed to reduce the cases. And so, activists like Eliane Kibubi and other NGOs in the DRC have taken up the challenge of speaking out against gender-based violence, hoping to make a difference. Chris Sochamringa, CGTN, Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo.
All right, you have pretty covered some of the obstacles women face when it comes to gender equality. So now, what initiatives can be developed to ensure equal opportunities for all young people before we conclude our program?
I think the good strategies could be tackled for promoting the equality among the young population in our country. I think first, to not separate, to not act like you take with much value this gender and neglect that one. They have to enjoy the same right. I heard one parent one day telling me that if he got money, for example, he got not much money and he got 2 children, boy and girl, for him it is better to send first the boy at school and the girl will stay maybe later. I think it is kind of sexism, and I think all the kids, girl or boy, they deserve the same right, and they have to be like considered or seen in the same way. What we do for the boy, we must do the same for the girl.
All right, what we do for the boys, we must do for the girls as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Didier Francois, for joining us.
Thank you.
And we appreciate much your fantastic ideas and comments.
Thank you so much.
Youth and social change in the Democratic Republic of Congo, that was fantastic. We developed this theme, and we talked about social movement for youth, and we dealt with fighting against corruption, gender equality, all of those things we tried to cover in this program in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It was really wonderful. So we urge you to keep watching this program on the second national channel, RTC2 Développement. Thank you so much for watching, and bye. Here are some highlights of this program. Hello everybody. Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation, yeah.
And we know that is a brainstorm. You yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.